On a small island, out of sight of land, there sits a lighthouse, with a solitary keeper making sure the light stays on, night after night, guiding ships through blackened skies. And then, one night, the light goes off. You arrive in a small rowboat, with a man describing how the previous lighthouse keeper has disappeared, likely run away on the rowboat, and you are to replace him alone until your assistant arrives in a week's time. Taking your suitcase, you step off the boat and begin the short trek up to the accommodation, across the gravel beach and up a dirt track to a small cottage nestled in the shadow of the lighthouse. The lighthouse is a tall and imposing structure, wreathed in the light of a new morning, looking almost divine. You trudge to the house and pick up a key left for you on the bedside table, and notice some oil spilled on the floor in the kitchen, which is easily swept up. As night begins to fall, you head into the lighthouse for the first time, using the key from the house. The interior is cold and grey. Footsteps echo loudly off the stone floors and into the tight metal staircase that spirals up above you to the heavens. As you ascend, you catch a glimpse of something out of the corner of your eye in the window, likely just a bird. At the top of the stairs, there is an oil can, lying abandoned, next to the oil repository for the lighthouse's lamp, almost like it had been left in a hurry. You descend back down to the bottom of the lighthouse with the oil can, finding a small room with numerous large oil drums and a hatch in the floor. The hatch is locked. So you fill the can with oil and head back up to the top of the lighthouse. Ignite the lamp and crank the sandbag mechanism that keeps the light turning overnight. You then sit and begin to wait to ensure the light stays on all night. But something happens. You aren't sure if it's a dream or a premonition or a breaking of the fourth wall, but you see the dock, the sea gently lapping against the beach. But you are pervaded by a sense of unease as you slowly move towards the overturned rowboat lying in the gravel. It jumps. Once, twice. A third time as you bolt awake in your bed, your ticking clock and oil coating the floor near your bed. Shaking it off as just a dream, you grab your key, oil can, and lantern off the dresser, and head off to start your day after cleaning the oil from the floor. You should head to the lighthouse to begin your tasks, but you just can't help heading down to the beach to look at the overturned rowboat you dreamt about. And there, lying in a pool of oil, is that rowboat, smashed in half. There is an unusual medallion engraved with an eye under the boat, but there isn't anything else here to stick around for, so you head back to the lighthouse. When you arrive at the top of the lighthouse, the glass windows are covered with a thick black oil, preventing the light from permeating through. You wipe it all off, by which point it is nightfall again. Heading inside, you realize the walls of the lighthouse interior are now coated with oil the entire way down the metal staircase. Not only that, but the sandbags in the lamp rotating mechanism have been severed from the top, preventing the lighthouse lamp from spinning. You would only have been able to move one sandbag at a time, but all three have been removed in the time it took you to clean the lighthouse windows. The only solution is to head to the small shack halfway down the island, and one at a time, bring 3 sandbags and a rope back up the hill. However, on the final trip down, this happens. You burst through the door of the shack and look for something to defend yourself with from the inevitable attack. But it never comes. As you sit and wait, You hear only the crashing of the sea against the rocks around you and the wind as it passes over the top of the island. Whatever chased you in here could still be lurking outside, but facing it beats starving to death in this shack. So you slowly peek out and see nothing. You can't believe it was just your imagination. You've heard stories of people left in isolation going mad and hallucinating on all manner of things. But with nothing else to do except your job to keep you sane, you begin climbing the hill for the final time. As you take each step, you hear discordant tones filling your head, unsure if they are a sign that you are stumbling into insanity. But you repair the mechanism, turn on the light, and begin your watch for the night. The next morning, you wake to a torrential thunderstorm. There is more oil leading to the door, and the oil can and lighthouse key that had previously been left on the dresser table in the morning are missing. Heading up to the lighthouse in the apocalyptic rainstorm, you discover a picture placed at the door of a shovel wreathed in black tendril. After retrieving a shovel from the tool shed, you discover a patch of freshly turned earth. Using the shovel, you exhume the corpse of a seagull, freshly buried. More patches of earth reveal more seagulls until you reach the furthest point of the island from the lighthouse, where you again encounter this. After escaping it and returning to the side it chased you from, you discover the oil can and the lighthouse key buried in a shallow grave. You return to the lighthouse, every crash of lightning sounding hungrier and hungrier. But you make it, and upon filling the oil can from the drum, you try the hatch in the floor. Still locked. You take the creaking metal steps up to the lamp and set it alight. But as you are preparing to keep watch for the night, the light goes out. Far earlier than it normally should. Descending down to the oil room, you discover oil covering the floor, centered around the hatch in the center. Still locked. You travel up, lighting the lamp again, and begin to take your watch. But the light goes out. Far earlier than it should. You descend the stairs again, but as you do, the lantern flame in your hand grows dimmer and dimmer until it extinguishes, leaving you alone in the dark halfway down the staircase. You head down far more slowly than you had previously done until you reach the oil room. As you enter, you hear wet footsteps and can barely make out a layer of oil covering the entire floor. You fumble around, discover something even more distressing. There are no oil drums. There had been 5 last time you were here, now there are none. There is only the hatch in the center of the floor, and it's unlocked. This is No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. I've covered less than half of the content in this game, so if this video interested you, or you're looking for a retro horror game steeped in atmosphere, I strongly recommend you play it for yourself. And if you like this video, leave a comment and subscribe, and I may just continue to make more videos like this.